Okay, you've been covering this relationship for months. What's your sense of why it fell apart so fast and so dramatically?
Well, I think Elon is someone who likes to use X as a bully pulpit. He has used it in the past to push for moves in Congress that he wants to see happen. And I think that he believed he could do that again and could weigh in on this bill and influence Congress. And maybe he miscalculated a little bit the level of influence that he has now that he's leaving the White House. But he's also the kind of person who gets into a fight online and can't back down.
I also want to bring in Jonathan Allen, NBC News senior politics reporter. I mentioned collateral damage in your article today. You wrote that, quote, Republicans are like the kids caught between parents in the middle of a possibly brutal divorce. We heard Speaker Johnson say today he hopes this is resolved quickly. Is that, you think, basically the thinking in D.C.? Say as little as possible, hope it goes away, hope cooler heads prevail?
Yeah, pray that the thunder and the rain finally pass you by, as Guns N' Roses would have said. I talked to a Republican lawmaker yesterday who said they feel like they're between a rock and a hard place. They obviously don't want to anger President Trump. He is extremely influential within their congressional districts with Republicans. At the same time, Elon Musk is out there making a threat to spend money against Republicans who vote for this bill on the floor, and that could be problematic for them too. Right now, obviously, we got a little bit of a period of a lull today. We'll see what comes from that, but Republicans on Capitol Hill watching very closely and hoping not to make enough noise that they get noticed by one or the other of the titans here.
Yeah, I mean, it matters, Ryan. Obviously, for so many reasons, Elon Musk brought into Washington in the first place to do no less than blow up government with Doge. We heard yesterday from Senator Ron Johnson that Musk's attacks on the big mega bill bolsters the case among critics. Is that still the case after Musk's tirade, 24 hours of going after Donald Trump? What's the political dynamic that's resulting from this feud, or, as some people want to call it, a divorce?
I think the apt comparison is a divorce, and it does feel in many ways that the Republicans here on Capitol Hill are the children watching their parents fight out in a very public dispute. But I do have to think at the end of the day that when push comes to shove, and if you're a congressional Republican and your political future is at stake and you have to choose between Donald Trump or Elon Musk, you're likely going to choose Donald Trump. And that is the sense that we got talking to many of these Republicans over the past 24 hours. I've yet to find a single Republican who says that their vote is going to be swayed or changed by Elon Musk as a result of this feud. You point out Ron Johnson. He was already concerned about the bill before Elon Musk got involved. So if you were concerned about the bill before he got involved, you're still concerned about it now. If you're a yes, you're still a yes. Just listen to how some of the Republicans on Capitol Hill were responding this morning. Do you worry that the Elon Musk of it all could impact this as well, because he's looking for more savings in the bill?
I don't spend much time on that.
There's still a lot of noise right now, and then we're all going to, get back in the boat rowing and move forward.
And that was really the overwhelming sense we got. Now, this is a short-term issue right now for the Republicans when it comes to just getting this bill passed. There are long-term consequences as well, though, Chris, especially if Elon Musk decides that he wants to reemerge as a political player. He said before that he's no longer going to use his vast fortune to influence elections. But now he's saying that he might want to primary some of these folks. I asked Steve Scalise, the majority leader, about that today. He said he's not worried about it because ultimately he believes that Elon Musk will be wrong about this bill, and their voters will understand that. Chris?
Kelly, what are the stakes for this administration beyond the bill? Do you think there's any possible permanent damage to the party, to the Trump brand?
Well, certainly it perpetuates part of the Trump identity that maybe the president doesn't want to shake, but it certainly has reminded us of the chaotic nature of the key roles around the president. We went through many chiefs of staff in the first administration, multiple secretaries of state. This is a different category, but it's related. And so that may have either just a reinforcing image in the minds of the public. And then there are concerns about the president chose Elon Musk to help him in this role and then is jettisoning him, it appears. And he claims that he got a little tired of Musk and had him leave. We know that the special government employee status was 130 days. But Musk had an outsized role in certainly the first 100 days of this administration with his team of technical young men in many cases in all these departments, going into systems and really uprooting a lot of what had been the fixtures of the federal government. And so for the president to then sort of cast him aside or to end the relationship, it does reflect on how much of a priority was that for the president. What is clear is the president believes that this budget bill is in fact the blueprint of his policy objectives, extending tax cuts, money for immigration enforcement, dealing with what they call waste, fraud, and abuse, but in some instances it's that and it's cutting. So that those things are really what's at stake for the president. He cannot have a legislative loss of a signature piece of legislation. That's really what's at stake for him at the moment.
Kate, is there also concern about the impact on the politics that is the money of tech titans in Silicon Valley? I wonder what you've heard from people you're covering, how they're observing this. And I think maybe to the point of why so many people are nervous about this is what it might mean for money for politics.
Absolutely. Elon Musk has talked about how, he wants to change his spending, but a lot of other tech CEOs have kind of followed Musk to Trump and shifted their views in alignment with Musk's. And so I think this does beg the question where the rest of the industry will go if they want to stick beside Trump and continue to fund him and to fund his candidates, or if they also want to pull back and kind of follow Elon, especially now that he's talking on X about potentially launching a third political party.
And how much money did he spend in the presidential for everybody and everything? And not to mention the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, hundreds of millions.
Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars. And he had promised to spend hundreds of millions more. Obviously, now that's in question with him and Trump fighting.
Yeah. Also with me in studio, co-host of The Weekend on MSNBC, Elise Jordan, who worked in the White House and State Department for President George W. Bush and is an MSNBC political analyst. This must be so familiar, exactly the kind of thing that would happen under George W. Bush, as I roll my eyes. What do you think it says, Elise, about our modern political age that a fight could potentially tank legislation, move markets for sure, mean for who knows what for Doge, right? Still people left behind, even though Elon Musk left government, but what's his influence or guidance over them now? For someone like you who did work in a White House before the age of social media, which apparently has become the weapon of choice in this particular divorce, what do you make of how this is playing out?
At the end of the day, it does show that Trump had a pretty fragile coalition. And how is he going to keep everyone there? And you see, Elon Musk coming across and allying with him after the assassination attempt and going in big. And I think Elon Musk actually really believed that Trump was serious about cutting the deficit. And we see how this breakup is playing out in the worst form ever with just the toxicity, but also you see where these different splinter and fault lines within the Republican Party, where there are some deficit hawks, a few hardcore, more libertarian leaning players who do not want to vote for this bill. And now the other senators who might actually want to cut the deficit too, but got pulled in with the pork, they are going to feel more pressure. You've got Elon's money sloshing around. I mean, it really is a perfect storm. But I at least hope they do something and craft a better bill here. I mean, it's a disaster.
Are you optimistic that that's what's going?
Never. Oh, never. I mean, everyone's got to have their personal slush fund to give back to their constituents and their donors. So, no, probably not.
Can I ask you about the constituents, though, and voters? And there seems to be a lot of Teflon, a lot of just throughout the Trump first presidency, throughout this election, and then the second Trump presidency. A lot of people have lost their ability to be shocked or surprised. There is something about this dynamic between these two men that has captured so much attention. Do voters look at this and say, Wow, I thought politics was broken before. It is broken.
I don't even know that it's that much different from what we had going, because look at how crazy it had already been with Donald Trump allowing the richest man in the world to come in. No guardrails, no, he was a special government employee and literally do whatever he wanted. And it was a mission that at the beginning seemed there was some public support for it, for cutting government waste, efficiency. But as it became clear that what Elon Musk was doing was mostly performative and destructive, you see the shine wear off of it among what little support he might have had internally and externally.